In today's episode of the Pathwing Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Morgan Beard, and she's hailing over from the team at Occupier. And the slogan on the website is simple: take control of your real estate. The future of lease management is here, and that's what we want to really discuss. Morgan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Lucas, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course, yeah. So maybe give people like a brief overview. What is Occupier all about in your own words?
Yeah, so Occupier is a Series A prop tech company helping commercial tenants in the retail, restaurant, healthcare, and office landscape really manage the entire lease life cycle, from site selection and deal selection to critical date management, and on the back end, lease accounting compliance, which is one of the bigger topics that we are seeing right now as new standards went online last year that are really forcing commercial tenants to change the way that they manage their real estate and manage their equipment leases as they work towards gaining compliance under ASC 842 and IFRS 16. On board, we have some really amazing customers who've been with us for quite a while. Shake Shack Burgers, Bluestone Lane Coffee, Bonobos, and DraftKings are just a few to name. I'd say the people that benefit most from our software are really anyone on the tenant side of commercial real estate. So commercial real estate is an older industry, and with that, you have a little bit of laggard mentality. The folks who are in this space, both on the real estate side and the accounting side and the brokerage side of the house, are still really relying on Excel spreadsheets, printed PDF lease documents to manage their entire lease life cycle. So what Occupier is really working to do is to help modernize the tech stack and the day-to-day workflows for heads of real estate and for controllers and CFOs who are working to comply with those new lease accounting standards as a whole.
That is very clear, very succinct, what you guys are doing now. Maybe tell us who within those organizations would be the champion. Who's the sort of the internal voice that brings the product Occupier into their door?
Yeah, there's a number. I'd say there's four really big stakeholders that we talk to in the commercial real estate process. And if we were to start from beginning, from site selection and deal management, it's the tenant rep broker to start. And the tenant rep broker is collaborating with commercial tenants on the real estate side, so the head of real estate, on getting new deals done, signing new lease locations, and helping them expand their business. Now, once that lease is executed, the internal real estate team now has a plethora of data that they need to manage, from financials for rent to critical dates that have financial implications to them if you don't make a decision whether to take action on a critical date or not take action. And then on the back end of that process, you have the accounting and finance team. And so the accounting and finance team is really, really looking to take all leases that are in their organization's portfolio and make sure that they're abiding by the compliance standards. So there's a couple different champions depending on who we're talking to. One of the waves that we're seeing right now is CPA firms and accountants are on varying stages of their buyer's journey and figuring out how to comply with ASC 842. So we're seeing folks who are just learning, and we're seeing folks who are very much entrenched in, I understand what ASC 842 is and how it impacts my business. And I'm realizing that I myself and my team cannot do this in spreadsheets. I need a software to help automate the process.
Gotcha. Awesome. Very good. Now, tell us a little bit more about how they find you guys. Like, what's their journey looking like? What are the channels that they go through? What is the client acquisition mechanisms you guys leverage?
Yeah. We have two really strong go-to-market motions, the first of which being our inbound funnel, the second of which being our referral channel, and then followed by outbound. And what we are seeing, and what I can see as a truth across the SaaS landscape, is that the customer buyer's journey is increasingly digital. Your customers are looking to empower themselves via their own research of the problem, then looking for potential solutions and self-educating or self-nurturing themselves to the point where they're ready to talk to sales. So to that point, we kind of tested that theory a little bit last quarter, Q4 2022, and we doubled our paid marketing investment in Q4. And what we saw was 47% increase in website traffic, 110% increase in inbound opportunity creation, 140% increase in closed won inbound deals, with just over 50% of those deals coming from inbound. Mm-hmm. And then we saw a decrease in the sales cycle of about 49 days. So what we're really seeing is a bit of a lead gen meets demand generation model. We have content that speaks to the accounting persona, and we have downloadable pieces of Excel spreadsheets that help them do compliance, ASC 842 compliance in an Excel spreadsheet. And the traffic towards those particular keywords is really, really there and really, really high. I think one of the things that we're learning as we go through this process too is that change in the customer buying habits is almost creating a fundamental shift in how marketing and sales teams collaborate. And so what we're seeing is that it's never been more important to align our marketing KPIs with overall business goals and revenue. And for a Series A company like Occupier, opportunity creation, pipeline, and revenue are really mission critical to our business. And it's cool to see marketers getting more and more involved with that revenue planning aspect and owning KPIs as they relate to revenue as a whole. And so at Occupier, the way we think about sales and marketing alignment is in a number of pieces, but first and foremost, like it really starts with our founders, understanding the value of the marketing activities and understanding how it nurtures that customer buyer journey, and ultimately warms them up to sales to make the sale easier. Number two, it then moves to myself as the marketing leader and my sales leader colleague being in lockstep on revenue goals, and being in lockstep on opportunity creation splits between our departments, as well as figuring out like what are the service level agreements that we need to have on marketing lead follow-ups. And then from there, I think it's really important to foster a culture of collaboration and open communication between both the sales and marketing departments. So we have weekly, if not more, meeting cadences in which the teams just get together for reflection, like ideation, feedback. And for us, from the marketing perspective, we have the quantitative data to look at the customer buyer journey, but the piece we miss and the piece that sales really gives us is that qualitative input when they're sitting on the phone. And the ability to put those two together just really helps us work in tandem and make better decisions as a revenue organization.
Makes a lot of sense. Sounds like a very good collaboration between sales and marketing. That's always great to hear because we also have, shows on the guest where this is a challenge. Yeah. So
yes.
No, for sure. So maybe let's talk a bit more about the website. You mentioned the quantitative data there. What do you consider a strength of the website at the moment versus where do you see some room for further improvement?
Yeah. So strength of the website, really, we look at the website as like our foundation of all things marketing. When I came on board 2 years ago, that was the first thing we rebuilt and rebranded as a whole. And so the growth strategy behind the website is really kind of a rising tide lifts all boats mentality. I don't think there's a one size fits all playbook or a marketing growth hack that's going to unlock exponential growth. So again, my ethos is really that rising tide lifts all boats mentality. And what that looks like is having a team that takes a test and learn approach to all of your campaigns. And what I've found in doing that is having a hypothesis about a particular vertical you're going after, a particular persona, and testing that theory on a given channel with enough budget and enough spend gives you like little micro hints of potential success or potential failure, and gives you an idea of like, what's the viability of said channel? And then from there, like, okay, do we ditch this channel or do we continue to invest more and learn more about it? Yeah. A really solid example of this, and one that we've seen proving successful, is our paid social campaigns are leveraging the insights that we find from our organic SEO and content strategies. So if a particular keyword or creative asset is getting organic traffic thanks to that SEO work, we're then trying to leverage that keyword and that kind of pain point in our paid social strategies targeting a particular persona. And so I almost think of marketing as, another way to say this would be, marketing is like making a lasagna. There are hundreds of different ways to make an awesome lasagna. You can use fresh noodles, you can use zucchini, you can go meatless, you can try 5 cheeses. Marketing is somewhat the same. You have to layer on numerous marketing strategies and tactics over each other to make a delicious lasagna or to make a really awesome marketing campaign. So in my mind, like the noodles of your lasagna, like that's your core, that's your website and your brand. That's the first place you start. Your pasta sauce is your paid search, your onion, mushroom, and bell pepper melody, that's your paid social. And then to me, you have to have at least 3 cheeses. And that's your content and SEO strategy. So You bake all those things together, you give it some time and a little bit of TLC, and you're going to have an awesome marketing lasagna, but you're also going to have some learnings. So after you eat that, you're going to say, I needed more salt, or we could have put some oregano, or we should have tried this different type of pepper. I think every time you learn from the tactics and strategies that you've layered on top of each other. And that's really how we think about marketing and growth in our organization.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your journey as a marketer as we slowly coming to an end of the interview. I would have some quick questions at first on, where with all the marketing content out there, where do you personally find, high quality information, when it comes to, marketing content for yourself?
Yeah, a number of places. I really love Chris Walker of Refine Labs. I think what he's doing is revolutionizing kind of the marketing world as we know it. Dave Gerhardt as a brand strategist is awesome and has some really good content out there. And then I love Ross Simmons for content strategy and SEO. Very
cool. Some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is the last book that you read?
Ooh, Founder's Brand by Dave Gerhardt.
Mm-hmm. What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
We're really focused on the accounting and CPA firm right now, given those compliance standards that went online last year. We're seeing a lot of these companies having pain in figuring out how to attain compliance, and we want to be right there to help them with that process.
Very good. If there would be no boundaries in tech, you have a magic wand that you could use in order to fix all the problems you have in marketing. What's the one single thing you would fix though?
Oh man, that's a good question. The thing that I struggle the most as a marketer is ROI on campaigns. I wish I had a magic wand that could tell me specific ROI on our paid social channels, for instance. You can connect the dots a little bit and see a lift in either like your paid search branded keywords or your organic traffic or direct traffic, but that one-to-one ROI just isn't there, and wildly frustrating, I think, as a marketer.
Makes sense. Now, as a last question, if you would today would be your very first day joining the company, what's the one advice you would give yourself for that journey?
Yeah, I love that. This is something I try to remind myself of frequently, but have a learner's mindset. I think there is no better time to make an influence on a company you're joining than when you first get there. Your ability to see the gaps, the holes, the areas for change, and the areas for improvement are wildly keen. But as you sit in your seat for a longer time, you build up biases of your organization, biases of your own experience, and it gets harder to see through those lines that you've drawn yourself or your team's drawn as a whole. So I think it's helpful when you first start a job, and something to do on the regular is to just take a step back and have that learner's mindset, be curious, ask questions, and take a test and learn approach to what you're doing. Very cool.
Awesome. So I would say let's wrap it up for today. We went through a lot of insightful knowledge that you brought to the table, and today we want to really thank you for joining the show today. Let's wrap it up with the last thing. If people would be forgetting all that we discussed on the company, what's the one thing people should remember about Occupier?
So Occupier is the only lease management software out there that is helping commercial tenants manage their second largest expense, their lease portfolio. So we help you go from point A of signing a lease to point Z of maintaining and complying with ASC 842 lease accounting standards.
All right. Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Such a pleasure. Thanks, Lucas.